All right, the countdown continues on WJJD's Chicago Top 40 Tunes on Greater Chicago playlist. WJJD, probably the original Top 40 station in Chicago until they went out of business or they changed their format in the early 60s due to the advent of WLS. WJJD, the survey, July 9th, 1956. Boy, we got it. Oh, yes. Clyde McFadder at number 28 on the survey. Treasure of Love, his first top 40 hit. Clyde McFadder, the original lead singer of the Drifters. He was with Billy Ward and the Dominoes back in the early 50s. He sang on their classic, one of the great R&B classics, 60 Minute Man. He sang on that back in 1951. He left the Dominoes in 1953. He formed the Drifters, and boy, bang, they banged up the R&B charts back in the mid-50s, early to mid-50s. First hit by the Drifters, Clyde McFadder and the Drifters. Money Honey, number one on R&B for 11 weeks. That is absolutely phenomenal. Such a Night, which was later covered by Elvis, their second R&B hit, went to number 2, and this was in 1954. And of course, one of their biggest hits was Honey Love, rather, which was number 1 for 8 weeks on the R&B charts. This was back in 1955. They also did Ruby Baby, which was later covered by Dion, and that was in the mid-50s. Man, we're talking about these original R&B hits that would become pop hits and rock and roll hits for artists later on in the 50s going into the early 60s. Clyde McFadder was drafted in 1954, but he stayed in the United States. He was stationed in the continental United States. He served in the special services. Thus, he was still able to record, but when he got out of the Army, he went solo. And his first hit, don't remember his first record, but it didn't make top 40, and then Treasure of Love. Oh, yes, went to number 16. You don't hear it anymore. You see, the biggest hits by Clyde McFadder was Lover's Question. That came out in 1958. Real big. That's his signature hit from the late 50s. It was co-written by Brooke Benton. And then Lover Please in 1962, which huge record by Clyde McFadder, written by Billy Swan. Clyde McFadder, the thing about it, Clyde McFadder, he never made really a whole lot of money. Very significant figure in the early years of rock and roll. One of the seminal figures of rock and roll. But he never got as famous as, say, Elvis or Sam Cooke, Fats Domino, and he perished. He died in 1972 from alcohol abuse. He also suffered from depression. He had kidney problems, which resulted from his alcohol problem. He died in 1972. Clyde McFadder was 39. Here he is at number 28 from the Atlantic record label, Treasure of Love, on WJJD Survey.